Hello, hello, and welcome to the From Nature to Nurture podcast. I am your host, Danielle, and I am so excited to bring to you today's episode. Today, we are on our 9th episode, which is just wild. But this is also my second interview. So today, we are talking with Liz Vermillion, and she is another herbalist that I met through a Facebook group for the Herbal Academy students. And I think this was back in maybe 2019, 2020 times. Um, and it's just really cool to kind of finally have an in-person talk. We've been messaging for years and we've like swapped products and seeds and stuff. So it's really exciting to kind of talk a little bit more about her path and just her work with the plants. Liz is a passionate herbalist and forager who has studied through the Herbal Academy and California School of Herbal Studies. She began foraging and learning about herbalism, becoming self-taught in 2022. This led her to create Liz's Cottage, the whimsical cottage where things are created using the ingredients from her foraging basket and garden. You can find her wares on lizscottage.com. Let's welcome Liz to the podcast. Hi, welcome, Liz. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Yay, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
I know, yeah, this is our first time
You're like,
talking kind of face to face. We've been messaging for years,
hmm
so it's super cool to like connect with you in more of a real-time situation.
yeah, you're like one of my OG herbal buddies.
Yeah,
I
I
think I
think,
started this whole journey like back in early pandemic days when I quit nursing school. So it's like I just wanted to connect with as many people online as I could and just learn from everyone. And you were a good resource.
oh, that
Yeah.
makes me so happy. Yeah, I remember when we connected, you just had like an herbal gardening blog, and that was it.
Basically, yeah, I was just like posting all these plants I started, working with in my garden. I was like, I just want to plant things and experiment like growth patterns and like this is a biennial versus perennial and harvesting roots and things like that. So
So much
I was
fun.
like, I've come a long way.
You have. So, can you share with my listeners a bit
Mhm.
about you, your background, how you got into herbalism, and what's going on with you?
Yeah, so my background is basically nursing. So I did hospice for a very long time. I want to say almost a decade. And then I wanted to continue with nursing, so I kind of took all these prerequisites and like early days of COVID, that was like 2020. I took all these prereqs. Then it switched to online. I did really well with those classes, but then as soon as I got into this nursing program that I didn't even want to get into, it was like a psych tech thing. So, long story short, I dropped out the first semester. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do with my life? And then I just kind of like delved into the woods, just went hiking and took pictures of everything and just wanted to study it. And so I came across Herbal Academy and I took their intermediate course, starting with their introductory, of course. They had foraging classes, a mushroom course, like how to make perfume. So I just thought, this is the coolest thing ever. Like you can work with natural medicine as opposed to like what I was doing with hospice. Like, there's other things for pain, there's plants that can help you sleep. Like, even I was out hiking one day and I got this really bad case of poison oak. And I was researching, I was like, oh, what plant is good for poison oak? And I was like, plantain and comfrey, lavender. So I ended up making a salve which really helped the rash and bug bites and everything else you get on hikes. So yeah, so here we are.
I'm pretty sure.
So I called my little adventure, or what I do, Liz's Cottage. I came across a story I wrote when I was 13, which was about this princess that ran away from her previous life and started making things out in the forest. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. This is me. And so, yeah, Liz's Cottage, the girl that goes out into the forest and forages and hangs stuff from the rafters. And Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you actually sent me some of that plantain and
Yeah,
I
my
have.
prototype.
Yeah, which is so much fun because I
Oh
actually never needed it, which was wonderful because I have a bunch of poison ivy all over my property, but
no.
it's in areas that I don't frequent often. And
Hmm.
so thankfully I never needed it, which was very nice.
Oh, good. Yeah, I use it on a lot of different things, so it kind of just heals any surface layer issue, like even breakouts, cat scratches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I might have used it. I know I used it on something, but it wasn't on poison ivy. So it must have
Yeah,
been just some sort of skin something. But I just love how
yeah,
green it was. Like it was just
yeah.
so
So
potent
that's
and
from
fresh.
the alcohol intermediary method, which I saw in a Willow and Sage magazine. And so Herbal Academy also had like a little article on how to do that. So I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. You just kind of take your dried herbs, cover it with 190 proof alcohol for a day, and then you blend it with your oil, strain all of that out. So it kind of leaches all the chlorophyll from your plants, and that's why it's so green.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Mhm.
So you kind of just like stumbled into herbalism?
Pretty
What?
much. I mean, my mom has always been into like natural remedies. Like whenever we got a cough, she would make a soup with lots of garlic and give us echinacea and myrrh and like mullein and all kinds of stuff like that. So like when I encountered these things out in the woods, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like what we buy at the health food store.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in your herbal journeys,
Hmm.
what has been a plant that has made a really big impact on you?
Um, I want to say the plantain, just because it has helped with a wide variety of different things. So not only can you forage it everywhere, but I ended up finding a little plant at my herb nursery and I planted it in my garden and the leaves just got so huge like they were probably bigger than my head. I was like, man, the ones I find out in like the forest or on a trail, the leaves are just kind of, small. And these ones were huge. So I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool how like the size difference. But yeah.
I love plantain. Plantain is actually like not the first episode of this podcast because the first episode was like,
Hmm.
introduction, but the first like real information was my very first podcast on here was on plantain. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a basic, like, people think it's, oh, it's a weed. It's like one of those plants where, um, people think it's a weed, but it's really not. But another one is cleavers I was on a walk with two of my friends, and this lady was in her garden just like yanking this stuff out. She's like, I hate these weeds. They're everywhere. I was like, no, give them to me. And so I was like walking around with my friends with this giant bundle of cleavers in my hand. And they're like, Liz, what are you doing? And I was like trying to explain to them like all the benefits of cleavers, like it helps your lymphatic system. Um, yeah, he can even use it topically, and I started making soaps with it. So I just thought that was like a memorable experience, just walking on this, you know, long hike with this big bundle of cleavers in my hand.
That's awesome. I know my friends all know like if they're doing any weeding, they're sending me pictures first and they'd be like, "Do you want any of these?" Just so I can
Yeah,
come save them.
yeah. I wanted to make a wild lettuce tincture recently, and I was like, oh, well, my local marina had this huge, big, you walk down this path, and like to the left, it was just growing everywhere. So I was like, I'm gonna go back and pick all this wild lettuce and make a tincture for natural pain relief. And these guys were down there, they had weed whacked everything.
Oh
They
no.
were down there with weed whackers and lawnmowers, and I was like, no. And so I walked around as you get closer to the beach, and I saw like one like solitary wild lettuce up on the hill. So I kind of like went up this hill and just grabbed it ended up making a post about it.
I actually remember seeing that. I love wild lettuce. It's so strong.
Yeah. So how do you take it? I've never worked with wild lettuce before, so is it like just a full dropper?
Yeah, it's really potent. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember what proof I made mine at, but it also like extracted bright green, like almost like an
Oh, cool.
absinthe kind of color. It was
Oh,
really
interesting.
wild.
Did you
But
use like 190 proof or
I honestly don't
super strong?
remember. It was last year. I just remember taking it. I just took like like I made it and then took a drop of it and I was like, whoa, this is strong.
Well, it's funny because I encountered it on my recent nature walk and I was like, look, guys, it has this milky substance and that's what is the pain relief. And it touched, like, I went to go smell it because it has kind of like one of the species has kind of this cheesy, kind of interesting smell. And so I went to go smell it and a little bit of that milky latex got on the tip of my nose. And I kid you not, for 30 minutes of this walk, my nose was numb. It was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
I was like, well, if I had any nose pain.
That's crazy. Yeah, see, mine was dried too. It wasn't even fresh and it was still pretty strong.
Oh, wow.
So I cannot imagine. I need to go try to make a fresh one now because now I'm curious. I want to
Yeah, I took
compare the
it
two
home and I
side by
used
side.
fresh and I used 100 proof vodka. I kind of got that from She Is of the Woods. She's like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's 50% water, 50% alcohol. So, like, if I had the 190 proof, I would have to cut it with, do all this math.
That's what I do. I get 190 proof and then I do all the math.
Yeah.
Instead of having multiple different like kinds of alcohol and like proofs, I just have like the one and I just dilute as needed.
Yeah.
It is more expensive that way, but it takes up
Yeah.
less space and I don't have a lot of space in my office. So
hmm I like organic alcohol
yeah,
companies.
that's
They're
what I have.
different Oregon. Yeah. 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 I have one of their leftover gallon jugs that I'm making a wine in currently. So I
Ooh.
wanted to get into more like foraged wine and shrubs and botanical drinks and stuff like that.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, so when I did my nature walk, I brought some homemade shrubs. So I foraged like over a pound of blackberries. And so I brought them home, covered them in sugar for 3 days, I want to say, and I put some thyme in there from my garden. And then after the 3 days, you cover it with apple cider vinegar and you leave that for 2 weeks. And then you strain that out and put just a little tiny bit in a cup and then pour your seltzer water over it. And it's such a good drink. Oh my gosh. It's kind of like a kombucha a little bit, but it's not fermented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because that's not enough time or the process. But yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
really
It's just
good.
like the similar taste, I guess, like a vinegary
Hmm.
sweet.
Yeah.
Um, but the wine, I also used blackberries and I found this recipe from this local guy. His name is Pascal. I have his I forget the name of his book, but it's all based on foraged ingredients. So it was a country wine. So you take about 3 pounds of fruit. So I had peach, foraged blackberries, some dried elderberries that I found. I mashed it all up. I found my grandma's like this cool stainless steel masher. It was from the 1800s. And I was just like mashing all this fruit and then sticking it in the jar. And then you add your yeast and water and lots of sugar. But yeah, airlocks are important though.
Yes.
I got all the steps down correctly and I put my airlock on and then I forgot the crucial step of like you have to put water in the airlock for the gas to anyway.
Oh no, what happened?
I just got a little bit of overflow because the yeast basically starts feeding off the sugar and creates gases and then if there's nowhere for the gas to escape, everything just starts expanding and goes up the top.
Oh no.
Yeah, It's still gonna be tasty. I'm excited to try it. I
Oh,
might strain it out tonight actually, and then put it in my bottles.
how long is it supposed to sit for?
Um, I think the yeast stops becoming, as active around the fifth to seventh day. But some people let it go for 21 days. But I'm not a super expert on wine and fermentation and all that stuff, but it's always an experiment. So after that, you bottle it, and I think you let it sit for another couple weeks in this, the snap top
Mhm.
bottles. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a fun experiment.
I
And that's
tried making a plum wine last year and it was like such a disaster. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh, I didn't really add enough water. I didn't add enough sugar. It tasted like a sour Jolly Rancher. Uh,
oh, that might not be horrible. I mean, you could maybe use it as like a mixer and do like a wine cocktail kind of thing.
yeah, it probably could have been like a good start to a vinegar making experiment, but I just like
Oh yeah,
tossed. Yeah.
that's funny.
hmm
Such a mess up. Um, so I know that you make products for your business and
hmm
you also have like articles in some different herbal magazines and different things like
Yeah,
that.
so surprisingly, Willow and Sage found my website last year and they're like, "Hey Liz, we came across Liz's cottage and we really like what you're doing. Would you like to submit any of your products?" I'm like, is this for real?" So I submitted three things. It was my coffee moon soap, which is made with coffee grounds, and like essential oils and all that stuff. Another one was a body wash that I infused with pine needles. And the third one I submitted was a rose face oil. So that was made with jojoba oil infused with foraged rose hips and rose petals. And they accepted all three of them. I was like, what? And so finally the magazine came out and I was like, this is awesome. Like this has been a dream to like be in a magazine, and I've been, reading this one since I first started this whole thing and getting inspired by all these recipes, and now this fall my pine resin salve will be in there. So, yay.
That's so exciting. Yeah, your types of products like fit perfectly with like the willow and sage vibe. Like it's very cottagey, like very yeah, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, and Botanical Anthology, I submitted to them. So I this fall I'll have a stew that incorporates fennel seeds. So in fall time, the fennel that grows everywhere, you don't really get the fronds and the stalk in the fall time, but there's seeds. And so you can crush them and just add that to like a beef stew or any type of stew if you don't want meat, but it just adds like this lovely kind of licoricey aroma to it.
I know it's such a divisive topic. Like
Yeah.
the licoricey taste. I love it, but I have so many clients that like start
Yeah.
making gagging sounds whenever I talk about it.
If you use the right amount, like it pairs well with certain meats, you don't want to go overboard. But I tried pickling it and that flavor
Ew,
was
that sounds strange.
yeah. Yeah.
What has been one of the hardest types of products for you to formulate? I know I really struggled with creams and getting like the right consistency that I wanted. But what has been
Yeah, it's hard to
your
make a shelf stable cream. Like I really wanted to make like a reishi mushroom infused face cream, or like I even had like a grapefruit, I think it was. It was like you use a decoction of your root and then you have your oils, then you have to emulsify it and all this stuff. But they all got moldy. Like you have to keep them in the fridge, or like one time I took them to a market and I didn't really check it before a market. And I was like, oh God, oh, I can't sell that. Yeah. But when I first started learning, I didn't realize that your plant matter had to be completely dry. So I was like infusing these rose petals and oil, and then I took the top off and I was like, ew, mold. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I've made
something that
like,
people come to me a lot about is the moldy oils.
yeah. Um, well, somebody told me once that if you do like a mullein, like a ear oil, you have to use fresh mullein flowers. And, St. John's wort is always infused fresh or like maybe slightly wilted.
Yeah, you should normally do like the alcohol intermediary method.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. hmm Yeah, if I come across like mullein, like for some reason my mullein last year that I grew in my garden, it got so huge and I was just out there every day picking off these flowers. And this year it just never grew past the second year. It was just so sad looking. It never
Oh.
got its stalk. So,
I'm pretty sure mullein isn't supposed to grow past the second year. I thought it was only a 2-year plant.
well, yeah, like the start of the second year was like when it started just wilting. It never, produced
Oh,
that
okay.
stalk. It was just the leaves looked really sad. I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. So I just dug it up and I found out the roots were even getting rotted for some odd reason.
Mullein is one of those plants that I keep trying to grow and it won't grow on my property, which it grows abundantly wild here, but I have tried
Hmm
planting it in the soil. I have tried planting it in a bed. I've tried planting it in a pot. I've tried shade. I've tried sun. I've tried combos, and it
Oh
just does not
no.
want to grow for me. And I am done killing them every year. So I am just not going to try to grow it anymore, at least until I'm at a different property. Maybe there's something about this property that it doesn't like.
I don't know. I know it likes where I am, it likes the mountains. So I find it at higher elevation, like where it's really dry, kind of hot. Maybe I'm probably overwatering mine. I think that's what happened. But
That's so funny because here it's hot, but it's super humid because I'm in the south. So,
hmm
and it grows great everywhere else, just not on my little like acre.
yeah.
It's just
Oh,
not for me, I guess.
I guess like certain things aren't meant to be, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just funny, like the stark contrast of like one year versus like now. It's like, oh, this huge, big, beautiful plant. I was going out there picking like all the flowers off because it got so huge, and it's like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's like people that kind of get upset. It's like, oh, mullein is invasive. Why are you planting that in your yard? It's like, well, I'm picking all the flowers off. Like, you know,
Oh, is Mullen invasive there?
yeah, it's
Oh.
considered invasive. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I don't think it's invasive here. I'm pretty sure it's native, or at
Is
least
it?
naturalized.
Yeah. I think people brought it over from Europe or something because it, was used medicinally or whatever. But here they call it um, colonizer cough drops.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, it's
I mean,
funny.
that's a pretty good descriptor.
Yeah, so like anywhere there's been a fire or like disturbed areas where they've cut down a lot of forest, this stuff just pops up like crazy, especially in the Sierras over in El Dorado County, like north of me, go up in the mountains. There was this big fire, and they even chopped down a whole bunch of trees in that area, and it's just like these huge, big mullein stalks everywhere. So I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go out and just pick some invasive plants. But oh my god, I probably had my back seat of my car like filled with 10 huge mullein plants. Oh,
That's so
so I
cool.
have enough
They pop up
mullein leaf to
around.
like, huh?
They pop up around where there was fires.
Yeah, usually like
Cool.
deforestation or fires, anywhere there's been like a disturbance, they somehow just like to grow there. Yeah.
That's so cool. I have a friend that is a wildfire firefighter. That's so hard to say. Wildfire firefighter, and he'll like fly out west and go like during the fire seasons.
Uh-huh.
And every he does it like every, fire season, like every summer, and I will mail him like a bag of tea to like help with his lungs
Oh,
to be
interesting.
able
Yeah.
to like keep him okay while he's out there like in the really heavy smoke of the fires and stuff. And Mullen is always in there, of
Wow.
course.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like there was a really bad flu season here, and everyone was just messaging me like, "Hey Liz, do you have any more of that mullein leaf? It really helped last time." I was like, "Oh, do I?" I have like this jar, like this massive jar from all those ten plants that I foraged.
And everyone was so upset about you growing this, or
Yeah.
working with this invasive plant, and here they are all asking you for it.
Yeah. There's this, I'm not gonna say any names, but there's like this local guy that just goes out and like just rips them up. It's like, oh, I'm triggering all the Etsy sellers by doing this. And I was like, well, give it to me. Or at least like I will go out on a volunteer foray and just go out and pick all the mullein instead of you trashing it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
don't just waste its life. Put it to use.
Give it to me. Like the people with their cleavers. Oh, that's funny.
So, I want to talk a little bit about plant stories. So I know that plantain made a really big impact on you because it was one of the first plants you really started working with in a medicinal sense. But
Hmm.
do you have any like plant spirit friends, like plants that you have like dreamed about or formed a more energetic type relationship with outside of strictly medicine?
Um, oddly enough, like the past few years, I don't really remember much of my dreams. Like once in a while, I'll have like this really vivid dream, and then I'll look back and it's like, oh wow. But I don't know. Like I have so many plants that I'm growing at the moment, but I really like, I like lavender. I tried growing English lavender, so I have like a bunch of different varieties. Like one does better than the other, but finally after like 5 attempts of trying to grow English lavender, it was like dying before I finally started to get that in my yard. But I don't know, just like the scent of it just is really calming. I also like purple basil. Just the smell of purple basil flowers is just, I don't know, it's just so intoxicating. But yeah,
That's awesome. I
I
love
don't
the
know if I have like a spiritual connection to the plants, but they all have their purpose and special meaning. Like I like the scent of this one. Like I like how this one, will flavor my dishes, and this one has medicinal properties. So they all kind of like coincide with each other. Like I don't favor one over the other, I guess I would say. I do
cool.
like roses though. Roses are I was making some like rose elixirs with that. And it's like so versatile what you can do with roses. Like they're edible, they're medicinal, they smell good. So like you have all these different things like I talked about, like, oh, that one smells good, that one's for cooking, but this one is just like all of that. But
Rose is super multifaceted. I love
mhm.
rose. Especially the rose elixirs are really good.
Yeah. And you can use the rose hips too, which is what I was using in my skincare serum. So you just infuse the hips into jojoba oil. I put some dried rose petals in there, and it's just like it's so great. Oh, I have some right here.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So these have been pretty popular at my markets too. Like people ask, "Oh, what's rose hip good for?" And I just explain how they have like all this vitamin C and all this other stuff. So I made a really good rose jam the other day. So I have this unofficial Lord of the Rings cookbook. So I was just going through it, and I had so many rose petals. So I just kind of put them all in my pot, put a ton of sugar, some pectin, and I brought that to a picnic with my mycological society, and everyone's like, Liz, your rose jam is so good. How did you make it? And I like that feedback. And it just really tasted like a rose candy. Like, I don't know, this rose that I have, the flavor is really good.
That sounds so good. Rose jam sounds delicious.
Yeah. So I
Let's talk
guess,
about mushrooms, actually, since you just
okay.
mentioned them.
Mushrooms. Woo.
Mushrooms.
I
So,
even have like this other little like
oh,
my
that's so
room is
cute.
covered
Your little
in,
amanita pillow. Yeah.
oh my God.
All the mushrooms.
You should oh my God. I mean, my room is a mess, but there's pictures, there's ceramics. It's
That's awesome.
What
I have my
do you
little
want to know about mushrooms? I
I
would
was gonna
love to talk about this all day.
say, I still have my
Yeah,
little
I even have like,
mushroom ceramics that you made me.
oh yeah,
I still
I
have
kind
them.
of improved on my ceramics since then. Um, oh, I could grab one right now, actually. I have it right over here. Wait, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So this is a little chanterelle that I made.
Oh wow, that looks
So
really
now
good.
I'm kind of like gluing them on these bases here. So we trimmed a tree in my backyard, and I was like, Dad, you have this like this saw. You can just put the branch under there and make these bases. So I started doing these workshops at the fungus fairs. So we use air dry clay, stick it on the base, and well, this one was like an oven bake, and you paint it afterwards. But yeah, that's my little chanterelle.
Beautiful.
And then there's this one is air dry clay. This is inspired by a bolete that I found in Shasta. So it has
Ooh.
like the yellow pore surface. The cap has like reticulation on there, moss. I sold like my other amanitas, but there's a velosa. I tried to do like a little dirt splatter, but
Yeah.
yeah, these are more realistic than what I first started making because back then I didn't know what mushroom anatomy was. Like, I was just making like a pink mushroom with dots on it or something.
Well, I still like mine. I have a reishi and an amanita.
Oh yeah, the reishi. I like that reishi I made.
It was really
That was
cute.
cute. Thank you for having me do that.
Yeah, it was
That was
really fun.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
have it on my desk. So,
Remember
mushroom.
you like used it at your markets or something on your
Yeah, yep, I
table.
have. I've used it on my market tables before. Yep. So what is the first mushroom that just like grabbed you and got you so excited about learning about mushrooms?
So when I first started taking like all my herbal classes, there was this school kind of in Forestville, which is a little up the coast from where I live. And this lady was taking us out to Salt Point, and she was just pointing out all these different mushrooms that you could find. And she kind of like explained what these certain polypores were. And she was like, yeah, these grow so fast that they envelop like all the surrounding shrubbery with it. I was like, oh my God. But I mean, it sounds like the most basic thing, but when I found the Amanita muscaria in real life, I was just like, oh, a celebrity. But like, there's so many other species of Amanitas out there, like especially Augusta, which is like this beautiful brown Amanita with uh like yellow fading on there. I found that on a foray with our mycological society. And I was just under these trees, like literally on my stomach, just like down crouching, taking a picture of this beautiful mushroom. And so I ended up doing some watercolors of that and, painting various mushrooms that I found. So yeah.
A couple years ago, I had some, I don't remember what kind it was, but it was some Amanita something. It wasn't Muscaria. Growing in my front yard, and I would go out there every day because it was just so cool to see like how fast it, I don't know all the mushroom
Yeah.
terms, but how like, it would just come up and then just like pff,
Yeah.
like how it just grows was really interesting. But it was so
Hmm.
much fun. I'd go out there and be like, "Hi guys," every day.
If it was in your lawn, it was probably like an agaricus, maybe. Because like they look extremely similar. Like they have the cap, they have a veil. They just don't have like that universal veil on the top.
Yeah, it was just like it was a different color. But it looked like otherwise it looked like exactly like a mascaria, but it was just different color. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never even learned what it was because I'm not great with mushrooms.
It's
I can
okay.
confidently
It's a
identify like
process, I guess.
five of them, so I don't move past that for now.
Yeah. Well, I found that iNaturalist is a really good resource. There's also like different mushroom books you can get that tell you like which habitat they grow under, like their distinct
Hmm.
identification features, like even smell. You can do taste tests, like which I don't like doing, but people are always like, "Oh my God, you can put a deadly toxic mushroom in your mouth." And like, I was like, "Yeah, as long as you don't swallow it," but I wouldn't really recommend it. But
Yeah, mushrooms to me are so much harder to identify than plants. So I
yeah,
don't, yeah,
yeah,
super, super cautious. I will put most any plant in my mouth, which is not what I'm recommending to new people. But
yeah. Just don't do poison hemlock.
oh my gosh,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's what I say most, not all. Like I was like, I can identify the
totally.
super poisonous
Yeah,
ones. But yeah, mushrooms, I am like much more wary with for sure.
yeah, yeah.
But I
Well, I
think
think you.
we are different. We probably have completely different mushrooms that grow in our area. Like here,
Oh yeah, for
we
sure.
have
Yeah,
reishi everywhere here. Reishi's super common.
it's
Um,
awesome.
I know
Yeah.
that lion's mane does grow here. I just have never personally seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But we get morels. We get indigo milk caps. Is that what they're called?
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
Little
yeah.
ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really fun. Those are the
I
only.
want to find one of those in real life and do like a little video. That'd be cute.
Yeah, I found a few, and then we have turkey tails, chicken in the
Oh yeah.
woods, and
Mm-hmm.
oysters, and those are all the ones that I can identify.
Mm-hmm. Those are all good, edible, medicinal. Yeah. I was out the other day and I found a ton of chanterelles, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of early for them in July." And I
Yeah,
was just walking down the path, and I just turned to my left, and I saw this orange cluster, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And then I also found this other Amanita species, which was, I think, an Amanita braconii, which I couldn't even find anything about it online. But I looked on iNaturalist and I was like, oh, this is only found like from the SF Bay Area up to like Washington.
that's
So
cool.
it's like all the observations of it found anywhere in the world was just this little red patch, like on the Pacific North coast, which was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's so cool. I wish I had been into plants when I lived out there because I grew up in California and Oregon.
Oh,
So
cool.
I didn't
Yeah.
really get into plants until I moved to Tennessee. And so I'm like, oh no, I missed out on such good plants.
You guys come back and we can hang out.
Yeah, yeah, you have some good ones out there. What would
Mhm.
be your recommendation for a easy beginner level mushroom for people who want to start working with mushrooms?
Definitely turkey tail is good. I mean, there's this one look-alike, which is like a sterium crust, but if you know how to identify it, which is the sterium has like a smooth underside, turkey tail has a white underside with lots of pores. Um, Chanterelles, they don't really have much of a deadly look-alike unless you find like the jack-o'-lantern mushroom, but they have like such an interesting gill structure. I mean, it's I'll show you right here with my mushroom. So like right here, they just call these grooves instead of like having a true gill. As you know,
Oh,
like
okay.
the cap and stem mushroom would have these gills on the underside, but these just have like shallow grooves. Um, Boletes are interesting. They're the only ones that really have like this kind of spongy underside. Yeah, lion's mane are and it's another good one that's pretty easy to identify. Like over here, there's like four or so different species. There's the coralloides, there's the like the bear's head tooth, there's the lion's mane, so they all just have like different tooth structures on it. So one just looks like teeth, like little, I don't know, little
Like beards almost.
little hairs or something. The other one looks like coral. Um, but yeah, I think turkey tail is like pretty easy. It's so common. It's like one of the most documented mushrooms out here, but everyone thinks like the crust fungi is the turkey tail or like the big Ganoderma reishi. They're like, is this a turkey tail? I was like, no. But
People
yeah,
confuse reishi with turkey tail. They're vastly different sizes.
I know. But just because it's like a big shelf with, it's like a polypore basically. So
I
it's like
guess.
anything with a big shelf with pores underneath it. They're like, oh, it's a turkey tail. I was like, no.
Yeah, we have a lot of turkey tail, but it will grow and like mix in with false turkey tail,
Hmm.
which is a big problem
Yeah.
out here. But I mean, yeah, like the tops might look the same, but the underside's very different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, they do kind of like intermix, like on the same log, they'll all be mixed in. So it's really interesting going to harvest because you'll have to like check each individual one that you pull off.
Hmm. I remember one time I was in Mendocino at this camp, and one of my friends that I was with, she's like in the art committee, and she's like, I want to find a bunch of turkey tails and make paper with it. And so we found like this log with the most massive turkey tails I've ever seen. They were, I kid you not, they were
Wow.
huge.
Inches,
Like a,
yeah.
and I was holding it up and I was like, this actually looks like a turkey tail. So I posted that on Thanksgiving and I was like, happy turkey tail day.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge for turkey tails. Ours definitely don't get that big down here.
I usually see them quite small, but I guess that particular area just gets really damp and I guess there were lots of nutrients on that log or something. I don't know. But
We're just very happy.
yeah.
So moving
Like
back into,
amanitas or I don't really recommend because
oh,
there's edible ones, there's deadly toxic ones. Like you have to be super careful and aware of, what you're identifying. So.
yeah, definitely not beginner friendly for sure.
Hmm. Like even this past year, I started eating amanitas like this one here, the Velosa. It doesn't have like that veil of like a death cap, but this tastes like sweet bacon to me. It's so good.
Oh,
Like one of the best tasting mushrooms I've ever had. It's great.
that's
I
interesting.
think hedgehogs are another favorite of mine. They have like the little teeth under it instead of gills or the pores. They just have teeth. And there's no like lookalikes for that one. So that's another easy mushroom to forage for.
Lots of options for people. Good.
Yes.
So this segues really well into foraging. I know
Hmm.
like 90% of your content is about foraging.
I know. It's like I don't post like any of my projects. It's just like stuff I've found or like I need to get better at that, but whatever.
No, I love it. I would love to hear if you have any funny foraging stories or just like like I'll give you an example. So, there's been plenty of times that I have had like pockets full of plants because I didn't like, I was just out and just found something. And so I actually had a pocket full of turkey tails one time. I was out on a run and I just
Uh-huh.
like, came across them. And so people are looking at me like I'm all crazy. I'm like dripping in sweat. I'm like out of breath, taking turkey tails and just shoving them into my pockets.
That's cute.
It was
I love that.
cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, like little funny stories like that.
Um, well, in the winter, like when you're out foraging, I was like looking for all these mushrooms and there's poison oak everywhere. And so you don't see where it is because there's no foliage. There's just like sticks sticking out of the ground. And so like I guess my leg brushed against this poison oak thing while I was out mushroom hunting, and I just had this horrendous rash for weeks on my leg.
Oh no.
But probably in the early days of learning about plants and identifying things, like I probably thought like a sow thistle was a dandelion or something. Or
Yeah,
like I've
super
made
common.
tinctures of like the wrong thing, and then I realized later it's like, oh, that wasn't what I intended on making. Uh, but yeah,
It's funny. But you lead like foraging walks and stuff?
I do now. Yeah, so I'm part of, well, I'm secretary of Bay Area Applied Mycology now, and I also run their Instagram account. But we lead forays to supply mushrooms for the fungus fairs. So like people more knowledgeable than I am will sit at the table and like identify all of them. I mean, I'll write down tags of like what I'm certain of what it is, but we'll just all take our baskets and just find any mushroom, put it in our basket, and then just take it to the fair. And it'll be on display for everyone to look at and, learn about what it is, and you can touch it and hold it. So that's pretty cute. But this past week, I led my first nature walk, which I talk about, various plants, and I was like, oh, this is an elderflower and this is the elderberry, and what you can do with those different things. And we're talking about blackberries and how to make shrubs and you know different times a year where things grow. Like you can get the fruits in the summertime and seeds in the fall, and all of that good stuff. I even was like pointing out these big, huge, tall nettle, like stinging nettle plants. I was like, yeah, if you look closely at the little seed clusters, like this one's a female and this one's a male. So I just thought that was pretty cool, like learning about male and female trees and plants and how they look different if you look closely.
You want to share that bit about the nettle?
The nettle, yeah. So I came across a video on Instagram. This girl was like, "This is a male nettle plant. Like the seeds, like the female ones have more clusters that just hang down, and the male has like a singular cluster, like
Oh, okay.
almost like human-esque, which is anyway.
Yeah.
So it will release these. It almost looks like spores that come out. So when it's ready to, you know, pollinate, it will release this cloud. Like you can just see it. Even if you touch like the little seed, you can agitate it a little bit and you'll just see this little mist coming out of it. I thought that was kind of cool.
From the
But then
male
when I
and
was
the
on my
females?
walk, huh?
From the male and the females, or just from one that does do the
I
mix?
think it was the male that I was growing last year. But when I was on my walk, I saw like the two distinct different seed clusters. Like I was just pointing it out to people. I was like, if you look closely, like there's multiple seed clusters hanging down and they're just, dangling there. So that was the female variety. And then the
Mm,
other one just had like the singular.
that's
Yeah. So
interesting. I'm gonna have to go check my nettles because
yeah,
I know
I
for
just thought that was
sure.
just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I know for sure that I have the female because I know that I've seen multiples, but now I'm curious because I have like five different nettle plants. So
Hmm.
I'm curious what all they are. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that sounds fun.
And somebody was like complaining about allergies the other day, and I was like, well, they specifically plant male trees because they produce less seeds and more pollen. So it's like affecting
Oh,
everyone's allergies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just like, little quirky things that you learn along the way. It's just really
That's
it's
true.
fun.
As an herbalist, you do learn a bunch of really random facts for
Oh
sure.
my God, I'm still learning every day, even with mushrooms and stuff. It's like that's something I didn't know 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn a lot of things that you don't realize like years later, like where you learned them, but
Hmm.
or until someone asks you a question about it. So like this one memory will stick out in my head forever. I was teaching a class, I think it was like early last year, like
Hmm.
last January, like last year's January. And we were talking about kitchen herbalism.
Okay.
And we were talking about like coughs, I think. I was talking about like, you can use like regular kitchen spices and stuff like that, like still for medicinal benefits.
Like
And I was
thyme
talking,
and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
I was talking about coughs, and then someone was talking about, oh, like what about for a really dry cough? And I said, oh, you could do a marshmallow infusion. And the room
Hmm.
got quiet. And this was the moment that I was like, oh, I forgot about this. She looks at me and she goes, so like melt a marshmallow in a cup? And I was like, oh yeah, that's not common knowledge that like marshmallow is a plant, and that's how we actually got like the little marshmallow treats was originally from the marshmallow root and stuff. And that was
Yeah,
oh no, no, no. And there's
that's funny.
so many
Yeah,
people
let's
get
just
like
melt a
so
marshmallow and
surprised.
I mean, that sounds delicious, but
I mean, it's mucilaginous. I wonder if it would work, but yeah, it was just kind of one of those like random little like facts that
that's hilarious.
I've known that for like 8 years at least. And so it's just kind of funny when you have brand new people and you don't
Hmm.
realize, oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, when I talk about plantain a lot, people always think like the
The
banana.
bananas, yep, yep, that happens
Yeah.
all the time too. I always have to pause and say plantain weed,
Yeah.
even though
Or I say
hate that.
plantain leaf and they still think it's the banana leaf. I was like, no, no, it's a different
Yeah.
plantain.
That's why I say weed, even though I don't use the term weed outside of like
Hmm.
because that's the only way they're gonna know that it's not the banana.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh,
Um, I was gonna talk about something else, but I forgot what it was. Oh, Teasel. Like I found out, I was just looking up different remedies for pain, like pain management and natural things you can use. And so I was researching teasel root, which is supposed to help with symptoms of Lyme disease, like especially nerve pain. And so I made a post and I was like, yeah, this is an invasive biennial plant, which also happens to be carnivorous. And then I was like showing like the leaves, how they create this U shape and the rainwater will collect in there and the bugs get trapped. And they were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Like even herbalists that have been doing this like way longer than I have, I guess they've never really worked with that plant because it's just such a weird pokey thing.
yeah, I've never worked
Like,
with
oh, I
diesel.
didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Yeah, it's not a plant that I've ever worked with. So yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
I mean,
that
there's
either.
this local park near me. It grows everywhere. And so it gets those pokey. I'm like looking at it on my perfume shelf. I was like, oh, there's a little pokey thistle over there. But yeah, one year I experimented with making a tincture and my friend took I told her to take one drop, not a dropper. And she's like, Liz, this knocked me out for like a good hour or so. Like, that's potent stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, just be careful.
Sounds handy to have around.
Yeah. So I have the wild lettuce. This fall or even in springtime, I'll get some roots of that. Um, but yeah, I wanna find out more, you know, things you can use for pain because everyone's just like taking handfuls of Tylenol and
Hmm.
you know, there's an opioid epidemic,
Yep.
addiction to pain medicine. It's like not good for your liver. So if there's like something out there that's like a more natural version that's not addicting or it's not going to have like a whole range of side effects. But I mean, I know a lot of foragers like to find ghost pipe, but I heard that has neurotoxins in it.
Yeah, that's a
I'm scared
big
to work with
debatable
that one.
plant.
Hmm?
That's a big debatable issue.
Yeah.
No
And
one's
just
really
because
quite
like their
sure.
growing conditions are so unique, like I probably wouldn't get that one, but
Yeah,
um
I work a lot with like California poppy or
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
bark, even
Hmm.
kava,
I
hop.
love kava. Oh my gosh. It's like the best thing for calming me down. Oh my goodness.
Kava was my introduction to herbalism.
Really?
Yeah, super
Yeah, yeah,
rare,
that's
but yeah.
awesome. I have
There's another
the
plant.
yogi stress relief tea. It's great.
Here it is. Okay, I actually just taught a class a couple weeks ago.
Really?
About, well, so it was about herbs for women's health. So I was
Okay.
focusing on, the different properties of the plants that pertain specifically to like women's reproduction. But I found this really interesting article where there have been some studies done with chasteberry for
Oh yeah.
for opiate withdrawals
Oh wow.
because it increases dopamine and influences the opioid receptors. And they would mix it with other plants like for the nervous system, and adding in some like extra pain management to kind of help as
Hmm.
they're tapering off of the opiates.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's so
Extra
cool.
tidbit for you.
I want to find like some other things that are good for like PMS, especially PMDD, which people don't really talk about that much. But things that are associated with mood disorders like that time of the month. Like I know
Mhm.
chasteberry is good for that, and chamomile and other calming herbs, stress management, that sort of thing.
Well, chaseberry wouldn't be great because if you have depression with your PMS, that's typically a low estrogen and high progesterone issue. And
Oh,
chaseberry lowers estrogen and raises progesterone, so that would just make it worse.
oh, okay.
Hmm.
I was talking to one like herbalist lady, and she kind of like recommended that, but that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
really big misconception is like, you look up, oh, hormone balancing, and everyone's like, oh, chaseberry helps to balance your hormones,
Mm,
but it only
right.
it only balances your
Like
hormones.
if you have like a mood disorder, like you probably don't want to mess too much with the chemical or, hormone imbalance.
Well, yeah, but yeah, like yeah, it's not balancing if you have low estrogen and high progesterone because that's what it's working with is to raise your
Yeah,
progesterone and lower your estrogen. So then it wouldn't be balancing. It'd only be balancing the
right.
other way around. Okay, so do you have any advice for herbalists? I know that's super broad. It could be about foraging, it could be about daily herbal rituals. Like, if someone is interested in learning more about herbalism or more about foraging, like, what do you
Mhm.
recommend for them?
I would just say start by going outside and taking pictures and touching everything. Just get out there and just ask yourself, what or who is this? Like, just sit with it and ask questions. Just kind of look at the structure of a plant, like out on a hike, a walk, anywhere, even in your garden. Just sit with your plant, look at the leaves, like how does it grow? And then, just get some books. Um, there's so many good herb books out there. Herbal Academy is a good online resource, but just start with one plant and study it for a while, see how it works for you, and then just memorize it repetitively. And so the next time you're out, you're just so familiar with that thing. It's like, oh my gosh, that's plantain, and I love this thing. And then you just kind of like form a relationship with it, and you just get excited about it, and you want to just tell everyone, you know. And then the next thing you know, you're just going out and filling up your foraging basket and making things with it and sharing the knowledge with other people. But you don't even have to go out. Like there's so many different things, even in your kitchen, that are used beneficially. Like thyme, you can put oregano in like pasta, and that's good for, all sorts of different things. But yeah, people use herbs even when they don't even realize it, basically.
That's true. That is true. Culinary, like herbal
Hmm.
culinary
Yeah, it kind of starts with like culinary too. So I started growing like a whole bunch of culinary herbs, and I was like, I'm gonna make a fire cider or like a thieves vinegar with, thyme and oregano and rosemary and like all this good stuff.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great place to start and like pretty safe too if you're looking at
Mhm.
culinary herbs, working with those, and then yeah,
Yeah.
getting to know your local plants right outside your door.
Yeah. And my friend was like, "What do you recommend for memory or what do you recommend for hair loss?" And I was just consistently telling her like rosemary, rosemary. I was like, "You have this big rosemary plant and what are you doing with it? Nothing." So I was like, yeah, just take it, just snip off some parts and dry it and infuse it in your oil for 6 weeks. And you can even make a hair rinse. And I was just telling her all these different things you can use with rosemary. So
That's awesome. Well, as we wrap it up, Liz, thank you so much for talking
thank
today.
you for having me. This was great. Oh,
As we sign off, can you give us a quick rundown of where people can find you and your products and learn more about
yeah.
you?
So my website is liz'scottage.com. You can find like all my soaps. I make healing salves. I even have like some of my art sculptures on there. I'm really into perfume making. So there's like two different perfumes I've made with mushrooms that I've infused. So there's a candy cap one, which smells like maple syrup and coffee. And then this other mushroom kind of has like a Russian leather scent. So liz'scottage.com. You can go on there, check me out. I'm also on Instagram, which is liz.vermillionaire, which is like my last name, but Vermillionaire. Yeah, or you can follow me. I have a public Facebook, so it's just Liz Vermillion on there if you want to just click follow.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great.
I hope you enjoyed my little tea time chat with Liz and kind of get a little bit of a inside look of some of the day-to-day things that herbalists incorporate into their lives and how they work with the plants. You can find Liz's products at liz'scottage.com and you can follow her on Instagram at liz.vermillionaire if you want to follow along with her foraging and botanical journeys. And then don't forget to check out all of her wonderful articles in the Willow and Sage magazines. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you would like to know more about my services, you can find me at rootandwandercollective.com, and I'll see you along the plant path.